Good evening, everyone. Just want to say welcome, welcome, one and all. Welcome to our open communication program this evening. Let us pray as we go ahead and get things organized. Let us pray. Dear kind and merciful Father, we ask, Lord, that you cleanse us all from all unrighteousness as we come in the presence of a pure and holy God. Be with us, Lord, as we prepare for this evening. In Jesus' holy name, amen. So, Elder Cooke, just take your time, and when you're ready, just go right ahead. I just want to just say hi to everyone there tonight, and thank you so much. This will be our final emergency communication presentation. So it's important that everyone just gather all of the information you can, because let me tell you, things are heating up. Things are heating up, saints, heating up. And I pray that by God's grace, that all of us will heed the information and be ready for what is to come. So just want to just tell you that I'm excited, and I pray that by God's grace, that everyone is doing their part to prepare.
Let's get this organized quickly here. Good night, everybody.
What while
Yes,
Brother
Brother
Cooke
Luke.
is okay,
No,
I'll go.
no, you go ahead. You go ahead. I'll just get in that file here quickly. Let me just
Yeah, I was gonna say, Saints, while Brother Cooke is getting that file together, if any of you have been blessed by the information thus far, please feel free to let us know. If the information has been a blessing, you have learned a lot, and honestly believe that you can implement, if not all, some of what you have heard thus far. Just go right ahead and let us know. And by God's grace, we are praying that you'll be there.
all right, guys. Welcome. Tonight, final session. We're wrapping it up on our communication
Let me know when to
classes.
start recording.
Oh, yes. Go right ahead. Go right ahead. Go right ahead.
Okay, start the recording. Let's go. Second. Over
All
to you,
right,
Elder.
guys. Yes, thank you, Brother Luke. All right, guys. Welcome to the program again tonight. This is our final class on the issue of communication. We may have to do one again in the near future, but I think we shared a lot of information. A lot of folks joined and they appreciated the information. I must say that a number of folks would have reached out to me um, via the WhatsApp. They have been asking personal questions. They wanted to know radios. They wanted a different feel, certain things as to what to buy. And I can tell you, most folks are going straight ahead with the SSB sideband radio, which is the CB sideband radio. Same CB, which is a SSB, of course, is the extended channels on that CB radio for better external communication. So most folks have gone that route. I've gotten a lot of calls from different islands across the Caribbean and also from the United States of America, from Canada as well. I think someone had called me from the UK also. And so I'm very, very happy for those who did call and who heeded the call to get different means of communication because The time is coming when we will need it. Things are happening at an alarming rate around the world. We know that is part of the fulfillment of prophecy. But in the meantime, while things are happening, we must be prepared as well. We don't know the hour, the day, we don't know the second, but things are moving pretty fast. Um, I can tell you, as we speak, France is currently battling with something called the lumpy disease in the cattle. So those who like to consume the meat, that's a problem again. They have cancelled the bullfighting that they usually have every year. Um, they're stopping some exports on some meats right now because that disease is wreaking havoc among the cattle herd, and that's just in France alone. We also know that the issue of Venezuela is not going away. As a matter of fact, even down to today, Trump appears to be threatening another war, opening up another war on this front with Colombia this time over drug cartels. So we have a lot of things. Trinidad last night was in panic mood when the U.S. sent out its release about no one visiting U.S. government buildings or government buildings in Trinidad. Stay away. There was some information that came out. The police said don't panic. The Minister of Homeland Affairs says no need to worry. I don't know how you can tell a nation not to worry when the U.S. Embassy is saying, don't visit here because of heightened alert and stuff that is going on. I know last night some folks had called me. I think a couple of folks called me from Tobago and told me that they didn't have internet for a while. I don't know if it happened all over Trinidad, but things are happening, folks. Things are happening, and communication is necessary. As a matter of fact, one of those said persons who would have whispered that to me told me that they have their radio on the way from the US coming and should be there this week in Tobago. One of those persons who called me and they said to me, I've been listening to you on YouTube and I now realize the importance of what you are talking about. So things are happening and communication will be vital for us to keep in contact with each other. Um, I know some people, they may hear this and say, man, I have WhatsApp, I have this, I have that. Well, WhatsApp won't work when communication goes down because they all walk on the backbone of the internet. And there you'll have a mighty problem on your hand. But I'm very happy for all those who took note, who, took heed and are still taking heed. And tonight I just want to say that those of you who still wish to have radios, who still will wish to have a personal consultation, you can still give me a WhatsApp call or WhatsApp message. I'll be more than willing to point you in the direction of the radio that you so desire. Most persons, like I said, most of them have gone with the CBSSB sideband radio. What is most interesting to me is that most of the individuals who would have called me, I would say 99% of who would have called me to ask for directions to get their radio were ladies. That's not surprising because women are always tending to get prepared for stuff more than men. They would say that ladies would go to doctors regular and men would only go when they're down the deathbed. So it wasn't surprising to me that ladies were topping the notch, would have called and wanted more information, where to go and buy, and are serious about this. As a matter of fact, most of them already have antennas and wires and power supplies. I think most of them would have been waiting on radio because, I told them when they're going about the radio to ensure that they call the store that they're purchasing from and let them know that they do need that radio modified for the sideband so they'll get those extended channels. And so I was directing them in that part as to how they should go about that when they're ordering the radio. So that may have taken a little time. They would have ordered the antenna, which is the Antron 99, because they wanted a base station antenna. and they would have ordered that from Amazon. As a matter of fact, I had a good experience speaking with a couple of them. And while I was talking to them, they headed over to Amazon right there. They said, I'm putting it in the cart. I'm buying right now. They would have sent, photos to me to show me that the stuff had already shipped. So ladies are serious and ladies are prepared. And I'm very, very happy that the ladies have taken the lead in such regard. These ladies are serious about their communication. They're serious about what they are happening around them. A lot of them from the US, especially from the US states. And I would have pointed out to them that in the US, you no longer need to have a license for a CB radio. There was a time when you needed that license to operate your CB radio. But the FCC, of course, would have cleared the way, so you don't need a license to operate your CB radio in the US states. You just have to buy your equipment and that's it, and you go right ahead. And so that would have given rise to many more persons saying to me, yes, I need the information now. I need to go and buy, and I need to set up as quickly as possible. So all of this have given me great hope that we did not waste our time on this platform. We did not waste time talking for hours and doing these classes, which are very vital in the coming days. Like I said, anything could get out of hand. I had a friend who messaged me this afternoon and said to me that he's living in the Middle East. He's pretty tired. He said, listen, I'm really, really tired. I want to get out of this place and go somewhere else to live because it's not easy living in the Middle East. Says I'm living in Egypt, but it's like I'm living right in the middle of the war zone. I mean, I know when planes are flying. We could see where I'm living in Egypt. I can see when the smoke is billowing from the Gaza Strip, when the bombs are dropping. It's just a terrible thing to live into, he said. And it's what it is. And sometimes they would have communication knocked out, even though he's living in Egypt. And it's crazy, he said, really, really crazy. And wants to move. And he knows the importance of having communication. He himself have a CB radio. I was spoken to him at least twice because he was trying to get it set back up, but he's thinking of moving out of Egypt, maybe moving to Morocco or one of those other states in Africa close by, because he says he's really tired of living in that place where all these things are happening around him. So, folks, I mean, look, we just saw the US saying that they have a peace deal, Israel and Hamas, and then today Israel was just bombing southern Gaza. And then probably a couple hours after, the Israelis say the ceasefire is back on. It's like a joke, but we are living in terrible times. A lot of things are happening, and they're happening quick, and we should be prepared for the Lord's coming pretty soon. We don't know the day nor the hour, but I think we're living closer than we've ever been based on the events that are transpiring before us. I don't think that we've ever lived in a time when the events that were foretold in the Bible, prophecy. I don't think we're living in a time we've ever lived in a time when they're happening at rapid pace. I don't think we've ever lived in a time. And I've heard, I think it was just last week, I would have heard someone either in CBS or CNN, they were having a conversation with somebody, and the individual pointed to the anchor when was asked a question about what do you think about all these things happening around the world. Now, this person is not a Christian, they're just a war analyst and they're this and that and that. And the person surprisingly said, I've never seen it like this. Something is about to take place in this world. That's what the person said. Something is about to take place in this world. I've never lived at a time when I've seen so many things happening so fast. And if somebody who is not aligned with the Bible, somebody who's not even, because, he said he's not into Bible, he's not into church, he's not into all of that, but he would have heard things before, but, you know, things happening around the world. And he didn't want to go into that because that was not CNN's business to do religious stories. But the point is, if he could have mentioned that, hmm, one to us who know and, still are living the way we are living. But I just want to get into this quickly because I'm not going to spend an hour tonight. This is the last night. We have some bad weather here in St. Vincent.
Brother
So
Cook.
yes,
Yeah,
go right
we
ahead.
have the same bad weather here in Antigua. It's gonna go through tonight and tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Yeah,
Absolutely, absolutely,
yeah. Two quick
absolutely.
question.
Go right
What
ahead. Go right ahead.
what number can we WhatsApp you on to
Well,
speak to you about
yeah, go right ahead. Go ahead. Yeah, well,
about
I
consult? Go ahead.
Well, it's the same number. I think most persons would have it by now, but
Someone is asking for it in the chat.
okay, 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 okay.
So if you give it
Um,
to me, just speak it out. I'll put it in right now.
right. So it's 1784, one
Uh,
seven eight four.
okay, one second, one
Uh,
second.
yeah, sure.
784
533 533
533
9260
9260.
260.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um,
All right. I hope persons are seeing what I have on the screen there. Um, I'm not sure. I hope it's being shared. Um, we're looking
yeah,
at the
it's being
okay,
shared.
okay, good. We're looking at the two-way radio codes. Persons have been asking me about them. What are some of the codes
Uh,
that you would use?
can
Go
I say
ahead.
one thing before you go?
Not a
Um,
problem.
someone, Sister Rose, who spoke to you, she
Hmm.
says, "Good night, Elder Cook." She says, based on our conversation, she says she was able to buy the items. The only problem she ran into is that the antenna is not allowing her to make the purchase. So
The antenna is not what?
should she's not being able to purchase the antenna.
Oh, well, she'll have to message me and let me make green her there again.
Okay then.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
not a
So
problem. Yeah.
so Sister Rose, just go ahead and send Elder Cook a message and he'll direct you. Okay, Elder Cook, go right ahead.
Yes.
Back over to
Yes.
you.
Yes. So tonight we are actually just looking at the codes because most persons would have asked me for the codes to use. What are the codes that you use on the radio? And I'm just gonna give you the basic ones because these are the ones that you basically will need to know if you're talking to somebody. So the two-way radio codes, 10 codes and Q signals. Those of you who used to watch a lot of TV back in the day, watch a lot of police and thief, as we call it when we were small. Whether TJ Hooker, Barnaby Jones, all those things, I think Luke had mentioned one last week. I can't even remember what the name of that one. Starsky and Hutch, I think. I can't remember. Um, but Breaker 19, all that kind of stuff, right? So you would have heard some of those things back in the day. So when you're on the radio, someone says to you, I'm getting a 10-1 on you. It means that they're receiving you poorly. 10-1. If they tell you a 10-2, says they're receiving well. So I'm talking to Brother Luke and I said, Luke, I'm getting a 10-1 on you. And mean I'm receiving him poorly. And that could be because his power supply is not pushing enough power out to feed the radio that he has. Most of the radios will work with a proper 13.8 volts power supply. If you run based on the wattage of the radio, you run a 20 amp or 30 amp 13.8 volt power supply. So you may be experiencing some power shortage there when people are not receiving you properly. It's not powering the radio properly, so it's not pushing out the amount of wattage it really needs to push out, or it could be some adverse um, weather issue going on there as well. Like if you hear lightning striking, you may hear in your radio. If the radio is not growing properly, you may hear like some buzzing sounds. So that's why we say ground the radio and stuff like that. So that's something that you need to pay attention to. If someone says 10-3, it means stop transmitting. So I'm talking to Brother Luke and say 10-3, 10-3. Because I maybe want to take a phone call, I want to do something, and that's it. Also, you may hear someone says 10-4 means okay, the message received well. You may hear 10-5, which means somebody wants you to relay the message. So I'm speaking to Luke and someone is talking to Luke from maybe in New York, and they may say, I'm getting a 10-1 on Cooke. Could you give me a 10-5? It means that Luke will have to now relay the message to them. So, these are the basic ones that you really use. A lot of them that is there, but I'm not gonna go through all because some of them people really don't use them. But these are the basic ones that you need to know. If you just want to use code, you don't have to, because we will find a channel where we can speak with one another. and we can just use the basic things. Look, I'm not hearing Luke properly. I'm not hearing blah, blah, blah. So we know. But if you want to use the codes, if you want to song that professional song, you just have to know the codes. I'm going to drop these codes in the Open Sabbath after the program, so everybody can download the PDF form there and keep it at home. There is the 10-7 out of service or leaving the air, which means you're going to be off air. 10-6, which is a standby mood or busy. You're doing something around the place, all right? The 10-9, which is the repeat service, repeat the message. 10-10, which is a transmission is completed and we are standing by. There's a 10-11 talking too rapidly, so somebody's talking too fast and you can't hear them. You drop that 10-11. All right, 10-12, which means visitors are present on our network. We have a 10-13. We advise weather, road conditions. So somebody's on the road. And you may even hear them say if they're on the road, somebody may say, I'm on the black carpet. Say I'm on the black carpet. It means that they're talking about they're on the road. So when you hear somebody see them use a dragon and say, I'm on the black carpet, where are you? I'm on the black carpet. That means they're definitely on the road. And we're moving on to 10-12, where visitors presence, like I said. 10-13, of course, is the road condition. 10-16, make pick up at. So somebody may say pick me up at, somebody may use in their mobile, or whatever word you want to use. And they may say, 10-16, and it means make a pickup at a certain place, and you will tell them. So this is a 10-16. 10-16, at Walgreens, 10-16 at Walgreens for 7:30, which means you want to make a pickup. All right. And then 10-17, of course, urgent business going on there. And 10-18, if we're having like a network or conversation and we're speaking to one another, somebody may be the network controller. And that's if you're having a network, like what we're doing tonight. If we were on the CB radio, I would have been the net controller, because what we have on the CB is what's called a network. At the time, you have a specific thing they call a network, where persons would call and check in to that network. So, if we have any NHFL, of course, having a network on a radio on a frequency, and we said you're checking into the network, someone can use that right there. All right. So anything for us on the network, anything for us from Barbados, anything for us from St. Lucia, you may say we have weather conditions over here tonight. Somebody from Barbados may say weather conditions are good. Anything for us 10-18. And then the time 10-19, of course, would be nothing for you, return to base and all that kind of stuff. And somebody said 10-20, my location, where you live in, 10-20. And 10-21, call by telephone. 10-22, report in person to somewhere. And 10-23, of course, is standby, standby, standby. 10-27, which is I'm moving to a channel. 10-28, identify your station. 10-29, time is up for contact, right? And 1030, of course, does not conform to FCC rules. Well, we don't have that for CB because we don't need certain things on the CB anymore. These are the basic ones that people use. There are a lot of them, and I'll put them there, but most of these things are really for if you're working with, some service like an ambulance, a fire, and all that kind of stuff. But you'll see them. You'll see them. And if you want to give people messages, 1050, of course, is break channel. So if I'm having a conversation with Brother Luke, and you hear and we speaking, and at the mid of me letting go my microphone, I hear 1050, it means that somebody wants to get in on the conversation. They're making a grand entrance into our conversation. So these are some of the basic ones that you definitely would need if if you are using the CB radio, if you want to be on that professional end of the spectrum. And like I said, those codes and these codes, I'll be putting them in the Open Sabbath chat as soon as I finish here tonight, so everybody can download them for themselves, and they can use them at their, as people say, at their leisure or pleasure. All right. So that's it for the codes. The rest, like I said, is just the basics, which we really don't need right now, but you can learn them for yourself. I'm just giving you the basics of what persons would use. So if anybody wants to ask any questions on that right now, you can place a hand up, or you can ask a question at this time if you need to. At least the
Um,
1073
uh,
trap is in. Go ahead,
yeah,
go ahead.
yeah. I was gonna tell you, SV said 1073,
Yeah.
um, which is the speed trap. She says
Well,
that seems like it would be.
yeah, that one really, if you're on the road and and you want to alert somebody, police is up ahead and you're speeding, and the police may have something out looking for people, they may have a radar gun, somebody says 1073, it's a speed trap coming up. So you settle down because the police is on the road there. That's what we used to mostly use it for. Yeah. Um, all right. Someone says, how do people live in high-rise buildings use the CB radio? Well, if you live in high-rise buildings, that may even give you a good advantage. Most people who I know live in high-rise buildings, they usually use what you call they use the mobile antenna. Most of them would put it on their balcony and attach it to the balcony if it's magnetic, or they would get a I forgot what you call these things. It's almost like what do you call that? Sometimes people use them on their vehicles to mount their antennas as well to the back of their Jeep. In the States, a lot of people use them. It's almost like something that you can bolt on to a porch if you're living on a high-rise building. So that the antenna would be out at least, say, probably half, maybe a good feet out off from the balcony, which would not give it, which, so when you transmit, the antenna, the signal itself would not end up in the concrete structure, but it would end up in the air. Um, so that is how somebody can actually use the mobile antenna. I know most people who would have spoke to me in high-rise buildings from overseas, that's what they would have done. They would have used a mobile antenna on their balcony, attached to their balcony, and and they would have spoken to me and sounding pretty good because they're up in a high-rise building, so they even have better advantage because they're on a high already. So that's even better. Yeah. So that's how we do it right there. Let me see if anybody else is asking a question there. Okay, good. Right. So there we are. There we are, folks, with the codes. And like I said, I'll place the codes in the open Sabbath chat for everybody to have and use at their leisure, like I said. Someone says, Cook, are you on Signal? I tried calling you. Well, yes, I have a Signal, but the telephone, the mobile phone that I have that on, I think that has an issue, completely have an issue. I don't know what's happening. It's just on and it's not moving. I had to get it to the shop. It's just there, it's watching me, but it's not doing anything, not accessing anything. Nothing, the phone did not drop, it did not, nobody break it or anything. I don't know what's happening there. And so that is actually at the shop to be sorted out. So you won't get me right now. This other phone that I'm using, I don't have signal on that, and I don't have it on it for a specific reason. All right. So someone says I hear animal names like bear, rubber ducky, and all these kind of things. People use these names for all sorts of crazy reasons. There's really nothing special about them really. People use them for codes, so they would develop their own codes and stuff like that. Um, so you can develop a number of things, which you can rubber ducky. I remember back in the day was basically for what we use a CB antenna. We call it a rubber ducky. um, so I'm not sure if that is the same thing you're speaking of, but that was what we would use back in the day. Would say a rubber ducky antenna. But some people use CB slangs. These are slangs really like gator and alligator. Some people say gator for when you have like a large piece of tire on the road, um, and from a distance it can resemble an alligator. Or when you're speeding, you may see the light and you may put it on it, so somebody may say there's alligator, a large piece of a tire actually in the road. So, but people use them for all sort of slangs, CB terminology, you call them. But I don't really use those things really, but people use them. They're just slangs, and you can get those terminologies if you go on. I think there's a website called Trucker Country, which is TruckerCountry. These truckers in America, they usually use those language among themselves, truckers, when they are moving along the highway to different states. So, and if they say back door, it means something's behind you and all that kind of stuff. But those are for the truckers really, but it's not really that you have to use them. It's just the truckers really. Most of them use those things on the main highways in America when they are going about. Yeah. All right. Someone says, what is breaker breaker? Yeah, I mentioned that earlier when I said 1050. I hope you were listening. I mentioned 1050, which is breaker. It means that somebody wants to get into the channel. So I'm speaking to Brother Luke on a frequency and I hear breaker breaker. It means that another person wants to get in on the conversation. That's what it actually means. So they're trying to get in on the channel where you're speaking. So we usually say breaker breaker. Some people say that. Some people say QSK, all that kind of languages are different terminologies, but most of the time the common language is breaker breaker. All right. Right. So that's it right there for SV. All right. All right. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. I'm gonna go now to the I have another one here which
Elder,
I want. Go right ahead. Talk to me.
um, the for Brother Cook, the number that we place in the chat, MJF, is his WhatsApp number. Mustin asks, he says to remind them of the NATO phonetic alphabet terminology from A to Z.
Yeah, yeah, that's not a problem. That's really if you want to be
Okay.
on the that's really if you want to use the sideband outside of our group discussion and you want to go on the main frequency, which I mentioned in the earlier class, which is 27555, which is the international call frequency. And you're talking to somebody and the person may ask you your name. You would say for Ernesto, in the language, you say Echo, Romeo, November, Echo, Sierra, Tango, and Oscar. And that's Ernesto. That's the phonics, really. The reason why I didn't go through that enough is because we won't necessarily need that on our specific channel that we will be using. That I can get and drop in the open. I can drop it in the open Sabbath chat as well. That will be a listing of how you go through that. So if you want to spell your name in that phonics, you can go and do that. But for our class that or our network, where we will have a specific frequency and we'll be talking to one another, we don't need to use that. So someone comes on and they say the name is Princess, that's fine. Princess don't have to go ahead and say Papa, Romeo, and all that kind of nonsense, really. I'm just saying nonsense based on our thing, what we're gonna have our own network because it's just a long process, really. Princess is Princess, Luke is Luke, Ernesto is Ernesto. We don't want to go through all of that thing. If you're going to go to the international call frequency and you're gonna speak with somebody there and you shift to another frequency and they're speaking to you, more than likely that individual is gonna call their name. So they say the name is Luke. They will say, "Hey, I am Luke from Brazil." And they would say, Lima, uniform, Kilo, Echo. That is Luke. They would say, Lima, uniform, Kilo, Echo. And you have to know what that is. So they would say, my name is Luke, and they would say, and they would spell it out because you may not hear look at the first instant properly and they're just doing that for reinforcement. So when they said Lima, you write down L, and they say uniform and they put U, and they say kilo and you put K, and they said echo and they put, and that's it, and they said that's my name. And immediately once you put down the first letter, when they say Lima, you put down the first letter. That's how you put it. That's how you get the person's name. Lima, and you put the first, which will be L, and they say uniform, you put U because you always use the first letter to spell out the person's name. And when they're finished with those four letters, you should know that the person's name is Luke. But that's only required if you actually going on the international call frequency to speak with somebody outside of our group. If you just want to make sure that you are professional because that's how they do their business there. But I will drop those codes as well in the open Sabbath, but it's not necessary for us if we are having a specific frequency. All right. Um, Someone is saying here, I think, Luke, you may have to check that WhatsApp group. Please add the link for open Sabbath WhatsApp group.
Yeah, I will
Okay,
I will
all right,
take
okay,
care
okay.
of
All right, good,
yeah,
good,
I'll
good, good,
take
good.
care of MJF. I'll send it to her personally.
No, not a problem, not a problem, not a
Okay.
problem, not a problem. Right. So I'm not gonna go through that phonic the group that in information tonight, most then that's for if anybody really wants to go on the international call frequency and do their own business. That information I'll drop in the WhatsApp group as well, so you can learn those things on your own. They're not difficult to learn. But like I said, all you need to know is that when you're spelling someone's name, you use the first letter of every word that they call. So if the person name is Kim, they will say Kilo, India, Mike. Immediately you write down the first letters, whatever they're calling. Kilo, K, India, I, Mike, M, Kim. And you know immediately that person's name is Kim. Okay? Right. But I'll drop those codes and you can learn them on your own. But it won't be necessary for our group where we have a specific frequency. We're talking to one another. We can go by name, just like how we're speaking here. Luke, you know, Cook, whatever. All right. Um, this is on the screen right now. We have the CB radio list, which this is just the frequencies that we have here. So you on most radios, which is the SSB, will come with the display, which is a large display, digital display. So you would see some will have channel one, and next to it, there'll be another display, and you will see the frequency if you want to know what frequency you're on. So there's channel and there's frequency, right? They're all the same thing, really. It's just a high, this is just the expanding number for the channel that you're on. So channel one will be 26.965 megahertz, and that is channel one. And you have channel two, and you go down the entire list. You go down the entire list of channels. These are just the frequency numbers. That this, of course, I will place as well in the open subject chat for everyone to know. These are the channels. If you're living in your home country, someone will be most of the time it will be channel 16 where you would find most persons hanging out, and they would say they would call a name. They would say if your name is Lone Star, and if your name is Angel on the radio, they would say, Angel, this is Lone Star, let's shift to channel 20. And immediately you go to channel 20, and if you want to use your frequency number, you know it's 27.205. All right. These channels are open to everyone. There's some that they say often used for 4x4 off-roading. So this is basically in the US where truckers again. You see people going off-roading, like camping, they'll use channel 4. You have an emergency communication, which is channel 9 in most countries. You can get the police on channel 9 in most countries. Some still use CB. Some still have the CB radio. I don't know if they answer it, but some still do. And if they do, it's on channel 9. That's how it used to be back in the day. Channel 10, often used for truckers. That's again, like I said, this is in the US. So if you want to listen to their conversation, most of them would be there on the regional roads. And like I said, this is in the US, but this is a global sheet you're having here. Channel 13, of course, again, open to everyone, often used by marine or RVers. So if you're on a boat and you have a CB, this is the channel most of them is serving. They've been living in the US, especially in the US. And you want to listen to people who are on boats, or they're in the lake or maybe on the sea. If they're using CB, they would be on these frequencies you're seeing there. So if you want to listen to their conversations, that's fine. This one often used by walkie-talkies. These are like general people nick close by doing their things on walkie-talkies. Channel 16, of course, open to everyone, and the SSB, as you see there, single sideband, right? And you see channel 17 says truckers, north, south, traffic, east, west highway. These are all US things. So if you're living in the US and you want to listen to their conversations, those are the channels you go to hear those truckers on the highway. They have a lot of interesting conversations, which I think makes for really good listening. You get some really good jokes out of them too. But that's the channel sheet right there. That again I'll place in the open Sabbath chat for everybody who is interested. 36, 37, 38, 39, 40. You see they stay in SSB, LSB. These are sideband, lower sideband, upper sideband. You can use them. You can use these channels, but we can use any one of these channels coming down here. Once we are on the sideband, we pick a channel and we go on the sideband and we get out of everybody's way on this upper sideband or the lower sideband and we have our conversation. So that's it. So all these listings, I'll place them in the chat so that you can learn them. So when you go on your radio, you know what to do. And if we say that we're picking channel, say 34, we go on the sideband and we go to 27354 or channel 34. But on the sideband, it will display as 27354. and we pick that channel and we go on the sideband and we have our network, and each can contact we can contact one another there, talk to one another, have our discourse and stuff like that. So guys, this is really it. It's like I said, it's not hard to learn. It's pretty easy once you get into it. And sorry, it's not hard to learn. It's very easy once you get into it and get into the hang of things, and everything is gonna be just fine. You just need your radio, and we get going. And therein ends the class for tonight. Like I said, it would have been a short one. And this is time for open conversations. If you have questions, you can still shoot some questions, and we'll take them now, and we wrap up at 8 tonight. So let's go to question time. If you have a question, we can go at those questions right now.
Question and answer, please unmute. Go right ahead.
Yeah, I got a quick question. I'm a trucker here in the US, and I got a CB radio in my truck, the regular Road King CB radio. The CB radio that you're talking about, is it different from the one that I have? I kind of came on late. I mean, I
You
was
have a
on,
Road
but
King? You have a Road King? You said Road King CB radio?
yeah.
Um, I think that should have sideband as well. I'm not sure. I am not really too familiar with that one, that brand. But does it have sideband, or is just the normal it sounds like a CB, just a 40 channel CB radio. It
Yeah,
sounds that way to me.
it's one of those 40, just like the Cobra,
Oh,
the 40 band.
ah, yes, yes, yes. Well, like I said, most of those truckers, they usually use just general CB radio, as in CB. Most of them really don't go on the sideband. They stay on, because even in the Caribbean, I would hear them on channel 6, channel 5 sometime and all in the evening after 4 and 5. And they you would hear them on the Georgia highway. You would hear them just talking to one another, right? So you don't have to get a sideband to do the trucking. Well, if you're talking to another trucker, so that's not necessary. But if you want to, you can have one. And if you have a dedicated channel, you want to go and have conversation with them, you can. But the way America is, because those places are really flat in some of those states, when they're on those highway, they don't really get much of a dropout in their communication, right? They don't have much things blocking them on those highways, so you hear them talking to one another freely all the time. Like I said, I'm in the Caribbean, and I'm hearing them in their truck talking to one another. I spoke to a couple of them already.
So
So
you say you got the sideband CB.
yes, I do have sideband radios. I have
So
two. Yeah. Go ahead.
so where do we get those? We like
Oh,
Amazon.
this is your first time you're joining the class, you said?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So what do you need to do? Um, my number is there in the Luca, drop it there again to everyone. It's there in the chat section. It's 1-784-533-9260. I think Luke will drop it there again. Just WhatsApp me, and I'll have a private conversation with you.
Okay. The one number I see here, James Luke, the one
No,
two six
no,
eight seven two
no,
zero.
no. That's if you need the doctor. Let me see.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
think yeah, correct. So keep that number and WhatsApp me after the program.
All right. I'll just screenshot it so I can.
No problem. What state are you living in?
I'm not. I live in Georgia, but I work up in
Oh,
North
okay.
Dakota. I work up in North
Wow.
Dakota. I'm actually in North
Okay.
Dakota right now. It's starting to get a little bit of the chilly side.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I hear it's gonna be a kind of a winter because La Nina, I think they say it's coming back. So
It's crazy. I'm I'm
yeah, I
I'm,
know.
I'm ready to get out of here anyway. I don't stay here for the winter. Time I stay
Yeah.
here down to minus 67, and then that's when I
Ma-
decided no more winter for me.
Man, I spent a week there. I think it was in 2013 when they had the polar vortex coming down from Canada. Oh, Father in heaven. Yeah, not me again. Not me ever. Not me ever.
So I'm
Not
getting
me
ready to
ever.
get out of here. As soon as it start dropping some snow and ice, I'm out of here.
Yeah, okay. Makes sense. Makes sense. Makes sense. So message me after, okay? I will have a
Okay, I will.
conversation. No problem,
Okay.
buddy. No problem. All right, good. All right. So
Elder Cook,
anybody else? Yeah, go ahead.
Elder Cook.
Yes, yes.
SV said, so she says, in a couple of weeks, can everyone who have their CB the SSB meet on a
Yes.
specific channel at a certain
Yeah,
time? Them?
yeah, once SV have the radio, what I want everybody to do, those who are picking up radios and picking up antennas, keep my number. Message me when you have your supplies. Let me know what you have. Um, let's do a test run, and then I'll definitely have a frequency assigned. So when we're ready for at least one Sunday evening or even a Saturday night, we all jump on that frequency, and the frequency we placed in the open Sabbath chat, and we'll go there and we'll have our network. We'll call it the network, and we'll communicate with one another.
Elder makes
Yeah,
all the sense in the world.
that's what we gotta do. That's what we gotta
we'll
do.
test. We'll test. Make sure we're up and running. So in that way, anytime we know that there's a communication issue, automatically everybody switch to the SCB. They go to our designated channel, and we gone clean. Elder, you're solid.
Yeah. I saw Sandra still say that she's waiting to know where to get her radio. I sent her to a specific site. It appears that the site had some issues with their certificate, their SSL, which is the security certificate for the website. So if you go on some websites, I think you would see it says hackers may be trying to get your information. It's not that the website is not good. It's just that their SSL certificate may have expired. I'm actually on the site right now, Sandra, and it appears that they have fixed it. So you can head back to bellscb.com and you can check them again for that radio I told you about. You should be good to go. So that's where you can head back to, Sandra. You can head back to Bells, and Bells should have, it still have the radio there, so you can just go back there. The one I sent to you, I'm gonna put the link right there in the chat there. You can click on that link. It's Bells cb.com. Once you click on that, you should be heading there. So Sandra, your site is back up. It appears that way, so I hope you can get in and do what you gotta do. All right, so let's see what else is happening here. Mustin says, can it work in bad weather like in Antigua? Yeah, CB radios work in bad weather, they work in good weather. There's not a problem with CB radios. As a matter of fact, the Antron A99, if you have that, which I said is the base station, which is better for communication when you have a base station, that Antron A99 actually can withstand wind speeds of up to, I think, if there's a weather condition, once you lower the antenna, it's advisable to lower it. So if you have it on a pole, maybe you should at least lower it. If it's on a 20-feet pole, maybe you should drop it to at least a 15 or 10 feet when there's a bad weather. It still does the communication there. But it actually, the manufacturer of the Antron would have let you know that it can withstand at least 100 miles per hour wind. That's at least 100 miles per hour wind. Most of the persons who I spoke to outside of St. Vincent, when I was in New York there, and I speak with people in the Caribbean, and there were bad weather, a storm passing through, I would have spoken with them, and they would have tested it themselves, and they would have told me they would say at least 70 to 90 miles per hour wind without any issues, without breaking, without ripping off, without going anywhere. Once the pole is properly clamped to your house, they would have told me at least, they measured it themselves, at least 60 to 90 miles per hour wind comfortably without damaging. So the Antron is a tried and tested antenna. And that's why I'm telling everybody, if you're running a base station, that's the antenna you need to have. Let me see what else somebody can Beautiful Ashes says, question I saw that Home Depot has CB radios. Would you recommend we purchase from Home Depot? It's based on the radio that they have, because I think they wouldn't be mostly selling just the ordinary CB 40 channel, which you would use, those truckers use, and which you can use for communication, probably by states and stuff like that. But you really won't get much external use out of that if you're coming out of the US, if you want to come out of the US people all the time. So I would recommend that if it's based on the radio that they're selling. If you have a list of the radios, if you know the brand that they're selling and you send them to me, I may be able to tell you, yes, you can get that one, but I'm not sure what kind of brand they're selling. All right, Beauty. So you can probably get the list that they have. Once you get the list that they're selling, if you can take a snapshot when you go in the next time and let me know what they're selling, I can recommend one to you. All right. SV says the network. I like the name. Yeah, man. Somebody has a name already, Luke, for the thing. Is they want to just call it the network. And
Amen.
That's not a problem. We can work. We can run with that name, the network, and I definitely. Someone was asking me this week if in St. Vincent if I'll be starting back up my CB club because a lot of the CB club in St. Vincent has gone to the dogs. They used to call it the St. Vincent CB club, radio club, really gone to the dogs. There's no more CB club really. And some I had one at one time, but I had to drop it because of work and stuff like that. And they were asking if I'm not interested in starting back up one. I said if I do, it would be online. It wouldn't be anything that is registered or anything here. It'd just be an online club. And I may do that, which I will call the Echo Bravo Charlie, which is my name, Ernesto B. Cooke, which is Echo Bravo Charlie Radio Club, and it'll be online. And I that would be basically have all the information that you need in terms of codes, radio, stuff like that. And that's something I'm looking still at because a lot of people, even St. Vincent, want to join back a radio club. There's a lot of people are getting interested in it again. So that's something I may look at in the near future, or I might just call it the network. Yeah. Beautiful name, beautiful name. All right. Yes, Sandra said, okay, Sandra, thanks a lot. All right. So someone said, what happens when there is an emergency and we need to evacuate like a natural disaster? Is the CB radio mobile so we can communicate on the run? Listen, you have CB radio that you have in your house, and I said this in the first instance. I'm not sure if MJF was listening or what, but I said that in the first and the second lesson. You have your radio. It can be used as a base station radio and it can be used as a mobile radio. It can go in your car, it can go in your house. It simply means that when you're in your car, you must have a mobile antenna to go with it. You can't put a base station antenna on a car. It has to have a mobile antenna. You can't put a base station antenna on your car. It wouldn't hold. Okay? But your radio can operate as a mobile radio to run in your car if you're on the run. It can operate in your house if you have the antenna as well to use it as a base station radio. All right. Someone says first time listener, what's the recommended radio? Uh, Let me see.
Well, let's find out where they are. What do you think, Brother Cooke?
Yeah, what's the person? Lindell.
Lindell.
You gotta let me know where
Lindell.
you're living. Let me know where you're living. All
Where
right.
you located, Lindell?
Yeah. Sandra Brown says, can I believe you were saying that what do you mean cage? No, a cage was actually just a box to protect the radio if there's some kind of nuclear thing going on, a EMP, which is a electromagnetic pulse. If you're having war and stuff like that, you want to protect it from the magnetic waves as something so that it won't shock you really. But if your radio is properly grounded, the antenna and stuff like that, you really don't have much worry about that really. So that's not something you should be fighting with really. You don't need to fight about that. You need to fight up with that.
Lindell, question for
Oh,
you.
Jamaica.
Uh,
Jamaica.
Yeah,
All right.
Lindell, which countries would you like to communicate with?
Yeah. Let's know which countries because if it's in Jamaica, you don't really need any extra SSB radio. You just need a normal 40 channel radio and a good base station antenna like the Anshan. I'll be fine. You'll be fine around Jamaica. As a matter of fact, I don't know. I think I spoke with a guy this afternoon, Brother Luke, um, out of Jamaica. And
Okay.
yeah, I was actually asking him for another guy named Patrick who had a radio one time back in the day. I don't think it's my Patrick actually, but um,
Elder,
yes.
Beauty said to tell you she's on the website. It works excellent. And
Oh,
Linda wants to reach
good.
the US and the Caribbean as well as in Jamaica.
Oh, listen to this.
Brother Cook?
Yeah,
Okay.
that actually was a conversation two Jamaicans were having this afternoon. I'm not sure if you're hearing that, but
No, well, I wasn't hearing, but I just
okay.
want to make sure it's not my computer giving me issues.
No,
And
look, no, I was saying that I had a conversation this evening, and I was trying to play it back so others could hear it, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
No, we're not hearing.
Okay. All right. All right. I guess
Um,
most persons wouldn't hear it. All right.
so,
But
Lindell,
okay.
the radio Brother Cooke would recommend, and Brother Cooke, you can correct me, would be an
Okay, so let me
SSB
see.
radio.
Yes, yes. Okay, so some beauty got onto the website. Good. So that website, Linda, I would suggest you go to that website as well. It's bellscb.com. We placed the link in the chat before. Look for that link, and I would recommend when you go there, you look for the Galaxy radio. There's a list of radios on that website. I recommend the Galaxy CB radios. There's a DX959B and a DX959G. There's just a different levels to it, but both of them are SSB radios. Those are really good radio. Galaxy's tried and tested radios. I recommend any one of those radios. So go on bellscb.com and you just scroll that page and you'll see them have everything lined out there for you. Whether you're looking for Cobra radios, Uniden, Galaxy, all of that. They have antennas, they have mobile antennas. Everything is on that site and they ship to anywhere in the world. All right. Right. So that's for Lindell. All right. Who else do we have there looking for answers?
Lindell was asking Galaxy DX. What was he's asking?
Yeah, just the DX is just Galaxy DS. Yes, that's the radio I'm recommending. All right. Galaxy DX. So there's two radios there. Anyone you can pick from. Anyone you can pick from. Those are both SSB radio. And listen to this very important note, guys. When you're buying these radios from that company, there's a telephone number there, and there's also, I think, a message. You can chat with them if you're using Messenger. You can also chat with them. That's Facebook Messenger. You can also chat with them. There's a contact section on the website. You can also contact them before you buy the radio. You're gonna tell them, one, I'm going to purchase the Galaxy DX959B or the Galaxy DX959G. Doesn't matter which one. They're both SSB radios. You're gonna tell them you're purchasing any one of those radios, and you're going to tell them that you need all of the frequencies expanded for external use because you're living in the Caribbean. So you want to speak up outside and you want all of the channels open for external use. Do that before you purchase. They will get back to you and they will answer you. And what I want you to do, when you tell them that, they will get back to you and then you go ahead, you purchase your radio. When you're purchasing the radio as well, and you purchase it and they send back a note to say, we got your confirmation, we got your order, we're going to package your radio. You send back a message as well there to tell them in your email that you want it expanded or modified for the sideband radio, because they are modified radios, but sometimes some of the channels are not opened. It happens. These radios are created in bulk when they're built. They're created in mass production. So yes, they open radio, they open the channels, but sometimes you would miss one, they would miss two, three, four, some of them sometimes. So you let them know that you want all of your sideband channels to be open so you can communicate externally with the world. They would know what that means. They would check the radio to verify that all of the channels are open, and they would go ahead and ship your radio. So make sure you do that. I advise everybody when they're buying radio to do that, because yes, these radios are a mass production, and sometimes just like when they're making a car, people do make mistakes and sometimes you get a little things left out. So that's how it is. All right. Yeah, so let's go see what's happening here. Beauty says it's called a freehand model, yeah, in the States. All right, Lou, thanks a lot. All right, so let's go. Beauty was saying that she wanted the link to be placed again in the chat section. I can do that for you. I can do that. That's not a problem at all. Do that immediately again for you, Beauty. Let me place that inside there again for you so you can have that. So that's the link for the radio shop right there. It's a good radio shop. It's been in existence for a good while now. Very reliable people, and once even if you call them by telephone, they would answer you and you just tell them what exactly you're looking for. All right, so that's exactly what's going on there. Let me see if there's any more questions as we get ready to wrap things up here for tonight. If there's any other questions, persons can come in now. All right, I haven't seen anything else. All right. So that's where we end our classes for tonight, Brother Luke. Um, someone is asking, Princess is asking, do you need a license for the SSB? Princess, where's Princess location again?
She's in Georgia. She's in
No,
Georgia.
absolutely. No, I think I mentioned that twice before. You don't need you don't need any license to operate an CB radio which has SSB sideband in America. You don't need that. You don't need it. You're free to go. The FCC released that a couple of years ago. You're free to go now. Every state in the US, you can use your CB SSB radio without a license. You're free to go. Not a problem. All right. So that may look like it for tonight, I believe. Want to thank you guys for joining me. I'm gonna drop all those things, the code, the channel, and the phonics. I'm gonna drop those things in the chat tonight. So those of you who are interested in those things, you can have them as well to keep on hand. So we're looking forward to having the network very soon.
Elder Cooke,
Yes.
Elder Cooke, let me tell you something.
Yeah.
Let me tell you. You remember how many people came on the first night? And then
telling
you
you,
see
man.
it cut down. Let me tell you what's going to happen. When the crisis come, everybody's going to try to blow up your phone.
No, I won't
And
be
I
answering.
like,
I won't be answering messages at that time. That will be the
look,
lot. That will be the
I,
late. That will be the cry. That will be the foolish virgins, the five wise, and the five foolish virgins at that time. I won't be among the foolish virgin crowd at that time. Very
look,
sorry.
I like what SB said now. SB said, give everybody a couple weeks for delivery. Once
Mhm.
deliver, we come back and say, hey, this is the test. Everybody come on, join the network, and let's test. Let's make sure we work. And Elder, once everybody recognize they're working, we know we set. And then what we'll do before the day of the big test, we can all try to work with each other behind the scene and
Well, that's
just
what I.
go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. No, you go ahead. You go ahead.
And make sure everything is up and working, because I heard you tell us, get in touch with you and you'll just make sure we up and running. So when the big tests come, we okay. So when the crisis come, we're ready. You know, we would have already tested and tried and know what kinks to work out, what kinks are not there. So when people are trying to kill themselves, we already set, we already gone clear.
Yeah, I definitely would. That definitely would be the five foolish virgin and five wise scenario, and I would not be among the foolish virgin crowd. So at that time when my phone is being blown up, I would not be answering, and I'm making it abundantly clear. I would not be answering it unless it's somebody who's really who was here, who had a radio and still had some issue. That's fine, but outside of that, no, I won't be doing that. I see the numbers tonight, which gives me a clear indication, I believe, as to the amount of people we may have in that network. It gives me a good indication. So those are the folks I will be working with. I am I won't be in any more hassle anymore.
I got a question.
Yeah, somebody has a question.
This is Mike from North Dakota.
Go right ahead.
I just spoke with you a while ago, Elder. Quick question on this. So where would you get power? You know, in a crisis or whatever, and you know, all the power goes out or whatever. How would you get power to power?
Man, you shouldn't have even be asking me that kind of question, the man. You let me down, the man. You live in a country where you have millions of things to have power if corrupt go out, man. You really let me down, the man.
No, I know we got the solar. I know we got a bunch of different solar stuff.
Yeah, man.
But,
So right. So hear me now. Hear me now. I had advised people in one of the earlier programs that they should invest in a piece of solar, right? And
wait, but
yes, go right ahead.
Cooke, you should let him subscribe to your site, because if he subscribe to the site, he can go back and listen to all the previous recording. But
yeah,
go ahead, Brother Cooke.
when he gets in contact with me, I'll give him the necessary information on that, so he can go back and check those videos I did on the YouTube, right? But just quickly though, invest in a piece of solar at least. A lot of them are selling on Amazon. You can get solar panels on Amazon. Easy, 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 easy. They can charge any 12 volts power bank, and you search for a solar power bank. So when you're charging the solar power bank to store the power for you. That can power your radio in any emergency. And it lasts, I think the one I had would have lasted me around probably 72 hours, which is about 3 days, I think that is, if my memory serves me well.
Yeah.
24 hours, 48, 70. Yeah, wrong there. So, and that was during a hurricane period when we had a hurricane and we didn't have electricity on the island for 2 days. I had communication. I could have sent messages to Grenada, transmit back to St. Vincent with the emergency services here because they had some problems getting into Grenada. So I had the power bank, and the sun came out the next day, half day, and it started rain again. But one day was really rainy because of the storm passing through. Next day was a half day cloud, a half day sun. I make sure use the days before when the sun was absolutely, when that hurricane was sucking up all the air and everything, and the place was just hot. I made sure charge up that solar power bank, had it running steady and charging and taking all of the electricity from the sun I could take in full 100%. So when that time came, I was not among the foolish virgins in this country. And I was able to communicate for at least 3 days on that. So, and of course, the other days after that sun started coming back out, I was able to power back up because electricity didn't come back in certain parts of the country for at least a week and a half. Some people didn't have electricity. I had it because I made preparations. So,
Okay.
yeah, man. But we go talk. We go talk when you message me anyway. All right.
Yeah, man, no problem.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Mustang knows the thing, man. Mustang knows the thing. Mustang say we have talked about battery and the solar panels. The more you spend, the longer you get. That's right, Mustang. You on target, Mustang. You on target.
Yes, sir. Someone
Edwina
say why?
says, go ahead.
Go ahead. No,
No, Edwina,
I was gonna read that. Go ahead. You're reading the same thing.
yeah, you don't say the difference buying the radio from Amazon and from Bells. Okay. So one of the things with Amazon is that they do sell radios from companies as well, because you would see Galaxy radios selling on Amazon. Those radios will be modified as well. But the difference is that you can't call Amazon and tell Amazon that, look, I want them channels modified. You won't be able to do that. The extra channel, because some of them, because like I said, the radios come modified, but sometimes they miss a one or two, and you don't want that. So that's the difference. If you're most persons who would have asked me about Amazon, a lot of them would have said they wanted just the 40 channel to speak in America. Some of them. And I, like, a lady called me from Florida and she said, no, I'm not interested in the sideband. I'm just interested in getting to my family in Georgia. One living at I think she said was somewhere in another state, or South Carolina, somewhere. She was in Miami. She just wanted the ordinary 40 channel because she's going to use a base station antenna. She'll be able to communicate with them. So that's why I said to her that you can take the one from Amazon. That's fine. But you can buy Amazon radios. If it's a Galaxy, it's a Uniden, they do come modified, but sometimes I said they miss one or two of the channels, and you can't call Amazon and tell Amazon that you need them modified properly. So that's the problem. That's the only problem with Amazon when it comes to the radio. But so that's why I recommend the Bell Shop if you really want the CB SSB radio. All right. Good. Right. So let's see what else is happening here. All right. So that looks like it for the night. That looks like it. But look, if you have anything else to say. Well,
Elder,
beauty,
Elder,
beauty, charging for that meal thing. Ella, she's a 10-4.
Look,
Roger
hey,
that. Roger
let me
that,
tell you
beauty.
something. That's why I love me some beauty now. Love beauty. Let me tell you, beauty is she's always there. She's always prepared. You know what I mean? Princess is always there prepared. Sister Sandra Valentine, SV, always there, always prepared. You know, Brother Harry and Sister Brown, always there, always prepared. My recommendation to folks, make sure you prepare, because Brother Cooke, let me tell you, the way things are going, Brother Cooke,
yep,
it's a guarantee that there ain't going to be no communication.
Because, yeah, I can tell you that.
Look, if you watch what these guys are doing, they know that this is how people are going to communicate. And just what they did, you remember what they did? I think Iran said that during the
Mhm.
war that they had
Yep.
with Israel, they lost full communication. And that's
Correct.
when they end up stop dealing with the American line and they switch over to Chinese I think whatever communication system China has is what they
That's
did.
right. That's right. So
Because
you know,
America, watch this now. Remember now, America siding with Israel and you getting communication system from America. So
mm-hmm.
Iran said, hey, we find that we weren't able to communicate. There are times we tried to communicate and we could not. America shut
Yes.
down the line. The very line that you're counting on, America shut it down.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
So right there, you know, there's a problem. I think Lou says, I think Lou's a good old CBR right there. Lou says, good evening, all, Unit 22 QRT. Absolutely. 73s, my friend. Have a good night. 73s. He's closing transmission, he says. That's what he says. QRT, he's closing transmission.
Amen. So let's pray. Let's pray.
Yes. Yes, go right
Dear
ahead.
kind of merciful Father, we thank you, Lord, for the wisdom, the knowledge, the understanding that you've given Elder Cooke to guide us through these areas, Lord. Father, help us that we'll be prepared. For the ones that are not here tonight, help them that they'll be able to go to the YouTube channel, Lord, and listen to that recording, that they themselves will be prepared for what is to come. We know that you do hear and answer prayers according to your will. And we ask that you let your will be done in our lives. In Jesus' holy name, amen.
Amen. Amen.
Yes,
Yep.
sir. Yes, sir. Elder, look,
Yes, 73
Elder,
is to all.
look, I'm going on the side and I'm going to study my little thing. May take
Yeah,
my
you do.
time because this is a new area to me. Um,
Uh-huh.
I've never had a CB.
Okay.
I've always seen them,
Yes.
they were always around me, but I never had one. So I'm just gonna take my time and learn it, and we go from there.
Yeah, well, I mean
Yeah.
that's the correct thing to do. And like I said, this is the last one. This is the last class we'll be having.
Mhm.
I see the numbers tonight, and I know what's gonna be happening. But I tell you, Luke,
Elder,
too late,
you and I already know what's gonna happen.
too late shall be the cry. That's all I'm gonna say.
We already know what's gonna happen because we know that once the communication go down, everybody's gonna like, hey, yeah, let's call Brother Cook. Look, I know they can't call Brother Luke because they're here. Brother Luke don't know anything. But Brother Luke
Well,
will have his stuff. I will be prepared by God's grace. Will be
that's right.
prepared.
That's
Yes,
right.
sir.
Yeah, man. So
All right,
yes,
Elder.
guys. So have a good night, everybody. Yeah. Guys, you can check the YouTube channel if you want to get the recordings from the former program. The YouTube channel is my name, Ernesto Cooke. You just search for Ernesto Cooke on that, and you'll be able to get all of the recordings from the last set of programs.
Okay. Brother Cook, remember you're the host,
Yeah,
so you have to
let me
shut.
just right, that's correct. Let me just end right there. All right.